Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Maxi Code. Welcome to my channel, and in this video we're going to talk about interfaces and abstract classes, about the difference between interfaces and abstract classes. Okay, that being said, we covered interfaces and abstract classes in two previous videos, so if you're not familiar with them, I highly recommend you to check those videos before you dive into the difference between these two fellows. Okay, that being said, the question about the difference between interfaces and abstract classes is very common for interviews for the junior PHP developer position, and sometimes for even the middle PHP developer position. It's a common it's a common question there, and it's very easy to learn that, to clarify, to remember those differences, to have an easy answer to that question. Okay, that being said, let's just dive into the four points on the difference. I just check. I advise you to remember only four of these, because these four are the most important ones for me, and that's why let's just cover them. Okay, as we covered before, when we have an interface, we can only declare a method. Okay, imagine we have a function foo, and we can only declare a method foo. We're not allowed to have a method definition, so some code in an interface. But when we talk about the abstract class, we can have a public function foo and some logic, some definition uh, in that method. This is maybe the first point on the difference between these two fellows. You have to just remember that. Okay, that being said, but in an abstract class, as we covered before, you can also have public function bar, but you can also have a public function bar. And then let's just check that we have no errors here. Yeah, that it is. So in interface, we're not allowed to have some logic here. I don't know. Let's just check that we have an error. Yeah, interface function cannot contain bodies, and nobody right here. Nobody in an interface. Okay. That being said, in an interface, we're not allowed to have any body, any code in that method. It's only a signature. In an abstract class, we can have it. But if we dive into the abstract function, the abstract function in an object class cannot have a body, so only non-abstract function can have some body, as mentioned here, and an abstract function cannot have any body. So only these ones are allowed. Okay, let's just dive into the second part of second difference I mentioned before, and it is just let's just get rid of it. We don't really need it for interface for our example. So imagine we have several interfaces. Okay, three interfaces, and we want to create an interface D which extends these three interfaces. Okay, let's just check that out. Okay, no errors. So in an interface, we can have a multiple inheritance on interfaces. So we can create an interface D which just extends several interfaces. And when we talk about the abstract classes, abstract class, I don't know, Z, okay, and we have an abstract class Y which extends that. Let's just check that out. Okay, no errors. But as we covered before, we talked a lot about classes. PHP does not allow you to have a multiple inheritance in classes. So there is only a single inheritance, and there are some traits starting from the PHP version 5.4, which allows you to have a kind of multiple inheritance. It's not a multiple inheritance, but you know, it allows you to reuse some code between different classes. So, okay, in an abstract class, we can only extend from one base abstract class in an interface. We can have a multiple inheritance. Okay, cool. So let's just go further and say that we want to define some property in an interface. Let's just check that out. Okay, interfaces may not include member variables, so we're not allowed to even define, or even declare any properties right here, any properties. So, but when it comes to an abstract class, we can have a property right here, and we can check it. It works. So this is one of the differences between these interfaces and abstract classes. So they're important to remember too. So well, okay, and let's just cover the visibility in interfaces and in abstract classes. So let's just define some method. Let's just comment that out, not to disturb us. So we have a public function foo, we have a protected. Let's just check that out, that it works. Okay, yeah, perfect. So then we want to have a public function var, but I want to check the visibility modifier to protected, and we have an access type for interface member a bar must be omitted. So we're not allowed to have a protected visibility modifier in an interface. And when we talk about the private, so it is almost the same. So in an interface, we can have only public visibility modifier for our methods. Okay, that being said, let's just dive into an abstract class. So we have a public function foo, and it echoes some stuff. Okay, cool. Let's just say that we want to have an abstract function var and echo. Okay, not just echo, because now we covered that. Abstract. Okay, let's just clarify that it is public. Okay, let's just check that out. We are not allowed to have anybody down here, so we're just talking about the visibility modifiers. Let's just change it to protected. Okay, it works. Yeah, it works pretty good. And let's just check this fellow to protected. Okay, this works pretty good too. So in an interface, we can only have a public visibility modifier, and as you can see, we can have public and protected visibility modifiers down here. So well, okay, but let's just check the private visibility modifier. So it's not an abstract functions in an abstract class, so let's just check that out. Yeah, we're allowed to do it. So well, okay. That being said, let's just check the visibility modifier of this function. Well, you're not allowed to declare, as you can see, we're not allowed to declare abstract functions as private in an abstract class. So right here, we can declare only protected or private abstract functions in abstract class. And we're allowed to use any visibility modifier we wish in common functions, and in interface we can only have a public visibility modifier for our method declarations. So these for me are the four most important differences between interfaces and abstract classes, and I highly recommend you to remember it and to remind these to come to these differences sometimes, because the OOP is very popular in PHP modern days, and interfaces and abstract classes are a commonplace in any PHP project right now. So well, okay, that being said, thank you very very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and we will see each other in the next videos.